stuff I never learned from a school book. My name is Tom Springer, and if you're watching this, then that means it is Monday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific. Hold on, if I'm at 7, I got to do the math really quick. Then you were at 2 Hawaii, 6 a.m. over in Indonesia, and you're anywhere from 15 to 18 hours ahead of us in Australia. Welcome to the show. Y'all know how this works. If you have not been on here before, welcome to the show. My name is Tom Springer, as I said, and I'm the host. For those of you who do know me, welcome back. This is a show that basically has a wide range of topics that we talk about. You saw the advertisement at the beginning, so we kind of cover a lot of things. I actually have a special guest on who I met locally, and I will actually bring that up when we're talking here in a little bit. But I'm just going to go ahead and bring in Kim Erwin. So, let me get my cursor moving. Hi, Kim. Welcome to the show.
Hi, everybody. Yay.
So, hey, Missy, how you doing? Like I said, this is going to happen for the first few bits. People are going to come in. So, hi, Jolene. So, I kind of want to give them a background to how you and I met.
Awesome.
And I was at a local show here. I think that was Mystic Fest that we were doing. Mm-hmm. Hey, Jamie. And I was being pulled towards the table that you were working for a vending section. And I thought I was getting drawn to a certain person, but you were there as well. And I wasn't sure who I was getting drawn to, but I was pretty sure it was the other person until I ran into you walking out the door and realized it was your energy I was being pulled to come talk to. And then, so Kim and I started a conversation up. We realized that it was a lot of really cool stuff. And we had a lot of like-mindedness, and I wanted to have her on my show. So here you are.
Yay.
Like a month later. So hi, Mary. So this is the name I talked about I can't pronounce. So there's Mary right there. Yes, I talked about people behind the scenes. So hi, what's going on, Boss? How are you? Welcome to the show.
Yay.
So if you would introduce yourself, not everyone reads my diatribe that I build when I build your screen. Everyone just kind of looks at the time, they look at the guest, and they look at a little bit of blurb of what you're about and go, okay, that person, I want to go see that person. They don't want to read the other 4 paragraphs I write up about you. So, so go ahead and if you would introduce yourself and kind of tell us how you started out in doing what you're doing and what you do.
Okay, so what do? I am a energy healer, spiritual teacher, metaphysical minister, Reiki master, shamanic practitioner, just overall mystic. I explore all things, and wherever spirit leads me, I go. Been doing it for probably consistently since 2012, like daily. But prior to that, growing up, just interested. I was always interested in everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here I am. I work at the Metaphysical bookstore. It's amazing. I thought I was supposed to move to Sedona, and it was funny. I visited Sedona for the first time ever and sat down to meditate. And I was instantly flying. I was floored. And I get done meditating. My friends were with me. I'm like, oh my God, feel me. And they're like, oh my God, you're vibrating. I'm like, why would you not want to be anywhere but here?
Right.
Why would you want to be anywhere but here? So I come home and I'm like, I'm going to move to Sedona. I've got to move to Sedona. That's crazy energy.
Yeah.
So then jobs got weird. The job got weird for me. And I took a resume down to Next Millennium and ended up working there. And my friend comes in that went to Sedona with me. And she's like, oh, this is just like Sedona. I'm like, oh, the universe is hilarious.
Right. So people who don't know, Next Millennium, I actually had one of the owners on here before. But it's a metaphysical store. It has everything, rocks, crystals, jewelry, just kind of anything you need or anything you would possibly want. And some stuff you can't afford, like the huge set of angel wing, amethyst, large geode looking thing that is just phenomenal. But that's a great store to be in. It has a fantastic energy. And they have a person who comes in and actually does readings and everything else. So it's a really cool store to be at.
Yes, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. So you said you've been doing this steadily for 12 years. or
Yeah.
since 2012. So hey,
So
that math actually worked out. 12 years. Good job, Tom. Um, but when did you actually start and kind of realizing that you had abilities and you were like, okay, this is
when I very So I probably what really got me first was healing. I was told I was a healer for a long time. I was in and out of churches growing up, just checking them out, and they've always told me that you're a healer, and it
right.
scared me. It always scared me, and I didn't know what it meant, really.
Yeah.
And so that is probably what. When I started thinking about that, I was like, maybe there's something to this, and just did a bunch of research. Well, I was always wanting to put hands on people that were sick, in different areas of life, different things that I've did. And it was a natural thing.
Right.
So then I learned Reiki and energy healing, a couple different Reikis and things. And I was like, oh, I like this. This is cool. And that just kind of developed, and I don't know, just develops and develops. I get interested, and I wanted to do, ceremonies, weddings and ceremonies of and such. So I got a minister's license and things of, just to help people. I'm here to serve and in any way I can. It's
and you do drum circles too.
I do drum circles. I do a drum circle twice a month, and I do a fire ceremony every month on the full moon.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. Super awesome stuff. I like to help others get to the peace that I feel,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, people, look, I am not just a pretty face. I actually do the research. So I do want to throw this up really quick, and I'll throw it up a couple of times. But
Okay.
If for any reason we get to discussion, and this is to the audience, if we're having a discussion, you're like, man, I really got to ask her a question, but I don't want to ask her on here, then you can actually go right to here, kimshealingcorner@gmail.com, and you can send her messages. And she will be more than happy to reach back out to you and talk with you about this, either through email or whatever you guys set up. But that's the way you can get a hold of her. I will, again, copy it, and I will paste it out into the comments so people have that readily available for them. But, yes. But you also have not always done just this type of work. You have
an interesting life.
You have a military background.
Yes, I joined the service. Well, it's a funny story. My siblings were all in the military except the oldest. There was 5 of us, and they were Army, Marines, Air Force.
Right.
And I joined the Army Reserves when I was 17, and before my senior year in high school, went to boot camp and did 8 years. And I was like, I want to go active. So I chose the Navy. So my mom has a child, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It's kind of cool. I was like, which one should I join? I'll join the Navy. My mom doesn't have a Navy kid. So I went active in the Navy. And I got out of the Navy and went to law school.
Right.
College and then law school. Practiced law for a little while. Loved it. It was probably the greatest act of service, I thought, in the way that I was doing it.
Right.
And well, not, ultimately I did some stupid things, but life started just getting super crazy. But another cool thing that was happening at the time, I had a partner at the time, and we decided to have kids, and we had, I have 3 kids now. They're 18, 20, and 21, and we had them by artificial insemination.
Oh.
In 2001, 2, and 4.
Right.
So we raised them, and that was amazing. So out of law school, I got a job as in an insurance company. This is kind of boring. And then started practicing law eventually, and got in some trouble. And it was, when you get to your darkest hour, I think that was my darkest hour in life. I got in some trouble as a lawyer I had a sibling pass, and that my father passed all within a year. Was in a relationship for 17 years, and they cheated all at the same time.
Oh,
ball of fire at me. And I just like completely lost it. And that was in 2010. So it took me a couple years and just trying to put my feet on the ground. But I think that whole ball of chaos is what
brought you to where you are,
where I am today.
Right.
And people ask, well, would you change anything? No, absolutely not. Because I don't know that I would ever feel the peace that I have today, or just the great life that I have. I'm incredibly blessed.
Yeah, because where you are now is a very good place that you probably would have achieved going through the past. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah. So it's
but you okay, so there's some things that you do that are different or unique compared to how other people kind of experiment with their abilities and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I first learned to meditate, in the 80s, and just kind of always did a little bit of a meditation. But then in 2012, it's been 2012, I did I was in a mental institution because of this chaos that happened and that I didn't know how to handle. Right. And I did an EMDR. It's a tapping thing and you close your eyes. It ended up being like a meditation for me. And I went into like a pure white light. It was like just all white light. And I went through that, and it was like almost like the presence of Jesus was there. And I was sort of more of a Christian than any other religion at the time, or identifying at least with that. And then I went through the light, and then I went into like a whole world. It was a whole world. And I stepped in, and there was an angel, and it was just more of a figure, says, this is all you, or all yours. I don't remember even to this day the exact words, but it just like, I just broke down and started bawling, and I come out of this EMDR and I'm bawling. But ever since that day, I could go straight through that light into that world just instantly. And I didn't know at the time what it was or where I was going or what any of it was for. And just over the past 10 years, it all just changes and develops and leads to other things. And like I had no idea a lot of it about it. And it just, until I start reading things, and it's like, oh, that's what that is. And I'll read this. I'm like, oh, that's what I'm doing. And like I was doing like almost like soul retrievals. And I had no idea that's what I was doing until I read it. And then somebody else wrote about it, and that's what they were doing. I was like, oh, wow. Okay. That's super cool.
Yeah.
So just spirit guided.
Yeah. And Jamie states, trauma will sure slam you into the direction you may not know you need to go. Wounded healer.
Right.
Exactly. Nikki is asking you, what brought you into the metaphysical world? Have you always had abilities?
I always had the claircognizant. I always had a knowing. I could always I've always had this I don't know how to explain it really. Just a knowing, and I could always sense energy around me, people's energy, like almost their thoughts, but probably not exactly. And if I said something to somebody throughout life, they would be like, "Hey, you don't know, you're lying," or "No, that's not it." React really freakishly.
Right. Yeah.
I always had that sense, especially I was thinking about this earlier, collectively, when I'm around a bunch of people, I can really sense the whole collective energy.
Yeah.
And that's just grown. So that was probably around the same time, probably when I started really paying attention. It was 2012, but yeah.
So I wonder if that's kind of what I do, because I walk around the festivals and stuff like that, and I'm drawn to energy that I feel like I need to go visit and talk to.
Yeah.
I wonder if it falls along the same line.
It probably is. It's kind of cool though, because even at work, like with people that'll come in shopping for crystals and things, I'll just get the sense of what to say or what they need, and it's just like that, a knowing. I call it a knowing.
Yeah, it was funny because when I was at awakenings with Nikki, and we were there, and I can sense a daughter and a mom were there, and they were shopping for a crystal, and they just couldn't figure out which one they needed.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew, like I was drawn to both of them, and I wasn't eavesdropping, but I was just aware of what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that was so weird is that I knew why they were there. I knew that they were looking for a crystal, and I knew they were looking for a crystal for the daughter because she had just started learning about them, and her dad had just passed. And she thought that if she had a crystal, it would tie her closer to her dad because it would have a connection.
Nice.
So I had to explain to them what I did and kind of stuff like that, and I helped guide them a little bit. So that was very interesting. That was the first time I've ever did that. And I was very hesitant. I had the feeling basically right when we walked in, but it took me about 3 or 4 times to convince myself, the reason you're feeling like this is because you're supposed to go talk to them. Stop being a chicken and go talk to them.
Right.
You know? And
exactly.
worst case scenarios, they're going to tell me to go away, you bearded freak. And I'm like, all right, that's fine.
Right.
But they were very receptive to it. And so they were, they appreciated the help.
Yeah.
So as an energy healer, I haven't asked. I've had other energy healers on, and there's a couple in my audience. I need to make sure that I'm not hurting anybody. So you're a good person to ask. I don't know why, but I've always been able to push energy to people, regardless of how far apart we are. They can be thousands of miles away, and if they need the energy, I can push energy to them. I don't know if it's in a healing status. I kind of think it's whatever they need it for, whatever their intent is that they need it for. I can send it to them. But I've never had any practice. It just happens very naturally.
Right.
And I want to make sure that I'm not hurting anybody by sending them my energy, because I'm not exactly a good person overall.
Right. Well, you're probably not really sending them your energy anyway. You're just sending them source energy, and that's never harmful.
Good.
And from what I know is that and it follows free will, so it's not going to be harmful with your intent. Yeah,
Jamie says like distance energy, distance Reiki, but shamanic-ish.
Yeah.
So thanks. Yeah, that's something else I've been told too, is that I need to look in.
I was going to say maybe you should check out Reiki.
Well, Nikki does Reiki, but I have been told numerous times that I need to look at becoming a shaman.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Shamanic energy healing is really cool.
Yeah, and they were like, you have such a high level of vibration and your surrounding energy is all pulled. So we've had this discussion, not you and I, but the show, a couple people on the show know that I never tire. I pull energy great.
Nice.
And I share energy fantastic. And I'm like an Energizer bunny. I don't slow down. Even when we're on investigations and people suck the energy out of me because I give it to them, I don't tire. And it's because the energy that I pull from is given to me, and it's through elementals. It's through elemental sources. And they know what I'm doing it for, so they readily just supply me with it, knowing what I'm using it for. So
see, that's what I was thinking is earth. I was thinking earth energy when you said that, and then you said elementals. So yeah.
And I've known that. That's something that I've known, is that's where I pull my energy from. Because the first one says, "Hey, you're a energy vampire," and I'm like, "No, I'm not." So Bobby Thomas, what's up, brother? How you doing? Bobby T and I used to be on an investigative team together, and so
yay!
Nice to see him pop in every once in a while to say hey. So how you doing, brother? So it's funny because when Jamie mentioned earlier about the whole shamanic-ish, and Mr. Nighthawk, William Nighthawk, says Jamie-ish. So now she's replying with no real label for Tom. So,
at least you're not an ish, right?
Yeah, I'm an ism. How's that? So William Nighthawk, he's on here, and I wanted to kind of talk to you about him. He is indigenous person, veteran, shaman.
Nice. Hi.
And cryptid expert is what I would say.
Very cool.
So he's on here, and I really appreciate his help too. I actually asked him a handful of times about stuff because he has a very strong with his with this indigenous person, I have a Native American background, but I don't know much about it. So I don't have anyone in my family to turn to. So I turn to those who are willing to help me.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yay.
But yeah, so you have done a lot, but you and I kind of had a conversation right before we came on air.
Yeah.
And you were talking about some of the I don't know other way to say it, but the other beings that you have been in contact with. If you can share some of that, I think this would be interesting.
Yeah.
Jamie.
So, yeah. So I meditate a lot. I meditate in the mornings, every morning for at least an hour, and then whatever the day. If I'm off, then a few more times, and at night before I go to bed. So I meditate a lot, and it's always just transforming and growing, and it's just super cool. So the recent, a lot of it is shamanic journeying that I didn't know I was doing until I learned about shamanic journeying. Let's see. I'm telling. I just had there's so much. It's like I don't know. So most recent, I kept meditate. I would meditate, and I kept flying into like I would fly in, and I'd get closer, and it almost seemed like a tree, but I get really close, and it would be a wall, and it would be full of hieroglyphs and symbols, and I'd fly right super close to it, and I just get close, and I'm like, okay, I'm taking it in. I accept, I receive, I emanate. I say that all the time. I accept, I receive, I emanate. So the other day though, I was doing a guided meditation, and the guided meditation, the guide had us go all the way up to this wall, just like in my meditations, and it was an Egyptian one. And she said, and then now go through the wall. And I'm like, oh, wow. I never even thought about going through the wall.
Right.
I already been going up to the wall, like, I don't know how many times. And then
your 3D knowledge of your brain stops you from going through a wall.
So I go in, and it was a guided one, and it was the Egyptian pantheon that was there.
Very cool.
And it was pretty mind-blowing. But I was more blown away by going through the wall, that I've been flying up to this wall for a few months now, and I had no idea it goes.
Right.
So it's like little things like that. It's funny because
right. I'm good enough to get to the wall. Why would I not be able to go through it?
Right? No, it's ego, right?
So Jill is on here. And she is asking, I could use energy really to calm my mind and this anxious feelings lately. Is there a manual to help with or work through the dark night of your soul?
Oh, I wish.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Jill, there's not really a manual. It's a lot of trial and error for what works for you.
Trying to be present is the biggest thing to get through anxiety and calming the head. I do that through breath mostly.
Yeah.
Just, where's my feet? Where's my bottom? Where are my hands? Pay attention to my breath, and that gets me through some of that. And
there's a lot of guided meditations online to help you with this. That's what I would say is go out and kind of look through what's out there on apps, on YouTube, whatever else. They all have them. And not everyone's going to be for you. Not everyone's going to resonate with you. They're not all built the same. I am still looking for that one or two or whatever to get me into that mindset. I'm pretty good about setting myself into my calm level. I don't know why or how. Mostly because my brain is empty, so there's really nothing in there to interrupt me from doing anything. But yeah, you really need to. There's that conversation I was waiting for. But there's really, it's something that you're going to have to do for yourself. You can ask for help. We can try to help as much as we can. If any of my audience has something that you think that Jill might want to try out, as far as where to go to look or anything else, feel free to type it in there. And that would probably help more than what she has now.
Yeah.
So Jamie does state that she has been reading about Egyptian Reiki, and this is the part I was waiting for. And I work with Thoth, Horus, and Anubis occasionally.
Yay.
So there's that conversation part I was leading up to with you, Kim, was this part right
Yes.
here.
So I'm doing it's a book. It's a Sekhmet journey. It's a shamanic journey with Sekhmet, the Egyptian goddess, who is kind of the Kuan Yin, the goddess of compassion, sort of. And that's, it's all understanding and of all the different goddesses in different religions, but the value is the same. So she's kind of like Kuan Yin, the compassion. I'm doing some really cool work with her, and that's how I did that, flying into the wall. But it was actually, and another thing that was happening is
Nancy?
I was doing some meditations, and I would focus my heart, and I'd picture my heart and send out from my heart specifically to like my mom's heart, and I would like vision her heart and just super heart energy stuff. And I was doing that with my mom, and then I was doing it with my dog because I was worried about my dog, and then I was doing a guided meditation, and they're like, focus on your heart, and then the heart. It was the pyramid, not the pyramid. The Sphinx's heart is what I was supposed to focus on. The Sphinx's heart. And it was like the same way I was already focusing my heart on real beings, in this dimension. So I was like, oh wow, that's super cool.
So these two are going to be tied together, and I'm going to read them both out before I want you to answer. Okay. But Jill does state that she tries to do guided meditations on YouTube, but she only manages about 10 minutes, but it does make her feel better. And then Nikki comes back with, what is your advice for very busy minds who struggle to do meditations? I can get through short guided meditations, but doing it on my own is a struggle.
Awesome. Breath. Focus on your breath. It's really all about breath. If you can just, and then another thing I do is when a thought comes up, I tell it, it's not your time right now, and move on. Or I like have this imaginary eraser I use. I just erase that. Yeah. Or, that's a different thing though. But like when I'm meditating, if thoughts come up early on, when they would come up, I would just, it's not your time. You have a time of yours. It's this time. Right. It's my time to do this. And it's more, I guess, maybe it's just more about it's not really control, because I was going to say that, but it's not really control.
Hey, Zhang.
Releasing. It's more about just releasing the thoughts.
Yeah. And I was going to go back to Jill, what you said. You said you do guided meditations. Oops, where'd you go? You try to do guided meditations on YouTube, which only manage about 10 minutes. Guess what? 10 minutes is fantastic when you're meditating.
10 minutes is huge, yes.
Huge.
5 minutes is huge.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I squirrel out so many times when I attempted to meditate that I don't do the typical meditation, what a lot of people think of as meditating, just sitting there quietly by yourself, releasing all of your thoughts and just being in the moment. I don't do that. I can't do that. The echo in my head is deafening, so I can't let myself sit there and do that long, because way too many thoughts roll into mine. But I do know that I meditate because I tell people this all the time. I leave from here in the morning to go to work, and the next thing I know, I'm at work. I don't remember the drive,
right?
But that was my meditation time. I knew where to go. I know what I was doing. I know I didn't put anyone at harm or any danger at all. But it was just my time to kind of be in my own time, my own peaceful situation, sit down, just drive. Melody will tell you, Melody actually said it right there. Walking meditations are fun.
Yeah, all of it. Any little time, just self.
Jamie said she listens to pretty heavy music to meditate. So, so yes, Jill, I'm glad that you agree with that. Echo in my head is deafening. Yes, that's what mine does. It allows way too much to come in. So anytime I find myself missing pieces of time, even if it's 2-3 minutes, that you're just missing pieces of time, guess what? At that point, you are doing a form of a meditation.
Right.
You do not need to be in a form of just sitting there, legs crossed, hands up, candles lit, everything else. That's not how that works.
Right.
Some people do that. A lot of people do that. If you can get to that stage to where you can take that time to yourself and take that 10 minutes and focus on the flickering of a candle or something else to help you concentrate, then that's fantastic. But just know that's not necessarily what has to be done.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so I'm trying to think, because I read so much of your biography, and it, like I said, I read it, I typed it, I reread it, and there's a lot.
There's more I ain't talking about, huh?
But it's a lot. But so I met you locally.
Mm-hmm.
What I know that you end up just applying at Awakenings, and
Next millennium.
I mean, I'm sorry, Next Millennium. That's what I meant. We go to both places, so it kind of throws me off. Sorry,
They're both cool. They're both cool.
Yeah, they're both. And what's funny is they both have their own energy, which is fantastic.
Right. Yeah.
But is that something that you? I mean, I know it was a job for you right now that you walked into, and that's what you're doing. But are you having on any? And is Next Millennium or you planning on doing any expansion to other things within the store outside of just the readings and the crystals and everything else? Do you know if Next Millennium is planning on doing any growth? Are they planning on expanding?
I'm not sure of any that sort of stuff store wise, but I've been teaching classes there for several months now, and they've been they're going to bring some other classes in.
What classes are you teaching over there?
I've been teaching the chakras. I just did the crown chakra once a month. I just did the crown chakra yesterday, actually. And then, yeah.
Is it like an hour long, or is it? I mean,
an hour long. And I just what I did is I just went through each chakra separately, did crystals, different ways to heal and balance chakra, and what it's like being unbalanced, and that sort of stuff. Fun stuff.
And it's funny because I just read Jill's comment, and she says, "Do you meditate with crystals?"
Well, I have a funny story about that. I had never meditated with crystals. I have a ton of crystals, and I had for a while. But I bought a crystal, a citrine, a really nice citrine geode, and I thought about 2 years ago, I thought I'll meditate with it. I hadn't before. I just hadn't gotten there, and so I meditated, and I was thinking, it's called the Merchant Stone, and I was thinking manifestation, creativity, get some money, things of that nature. This is what my thought was going into the meditation. I went to meditate, and my dad, who had passed in 2008, came in, and all I could do was tell him I loved him. I love you, Dad. I love you for everybody that couldn't love you in life and who didn't love you. And I love you. I just give you love, love, love. It was all about love for like a 10-minute meditation. I'm bawling. I get done meditating, I'm like, wow, that was intense. I don't know about that. That was not what I expected from citrine. Right. So about 7 months later, I volunteered to be a client for mediums who are practicing.
Right. Yeah.
Doing it on Zoom, and there was like 3 in each room. And you start in the first room. So I went in the first room. The lady says, "Your dad's here." I said, "Cool." She says, "Well, he's here, and there's all this fireworks and all this stuff, and he's so happy, and he wants me to tell you, thank you. He made it." I'm like, "What?"
Wow. Yeah.
Whoa, blew my mind. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I had no idea. No idea. Yeah. So that's the only time I meditated with crystals, and it was huge.
She just read a bit about it being called the Merchant Stone.
Yes.
Nicole wants to know how you learn about all the crystals.
How I work at Next Millennium, and I spend most of the day in the rock room, and so I just read about them and pick them up and carry them around, and I just have a great time with them all day long, basically.
Yeah.
Just research and playing with them. I test them out like it said smoky quartz is good to helps heal like cuts and things faster. So I had a cut one day, and I wore smoky quartz to see, and it really worked. And like bumblebee jasper is supposed to help a belly ache. And I was like, oh, I got a belly. I'm going to try that. And so I just try them. And then customers come in. They're like, oh, I need something for this. And it's like, oh, yeah. And I know it works.
Yeah, it's been tried. Jill, I'm going to come back to your statement here in a second. I'm going to go to Debbie's really quick. Debbie's saying, when meditating with crystals, I find it extremely helpful to find a binaural beat frequency meditation that works with that specific crystal frequency.
Yes,
it helps you align with the crystal and have amazing meditations. Now, my question, Debbie, is there a way to identify?
Yes.
How do you identify what crystals work with what frequencies?
All the crystals have different crystal lattices, and and this is not Debbie can answer differently probably. This is my understanding. It's based on their crystal lattice and their vibration. Typically, their color has a different vibration. Like each chakra color has a different frequency. Right. So it'd be like that for the rocks, I'm assuming.
Thanks, Joe. Joe says Google.
Joe says what? Google it?
Google. Thanks, Joe. Big help. Appreciate it.
Oh, Joe, Google it. But that's my understanding. Its vibration is based on its color and its crystal lattice. So.
Yeah, she says you put on a search for binaural beats meditation for that specific crystal.
Oh, very cool. That's even easier. Google it. Yeah, that makes
better. Yeah. Jamie, nope, I'm sorry. I went too far. So Jill is being told that her sacral and solar plexus are blocked.
Mm-hmm.
So any advice to what she should work with in order to try to clear those?
Sure. There's different, the best, let's see. There's a variety of things that can be done for clearing chakras. You can use rocks like sacral chakra and solar plexus rocks. Like the best would be carnelian and citrine. You could use them because they'll help they vibrate at the appropriate frequency for that chakra. So they'll help bring your frequency back to balance through rocks. That's one way, through rocks. Meditations, affirmations are awesome. I used to be an anti-affirmation person, and but I swear by them now. They're amazing.
Yeah. I gotta ask, because this is not, we've been talking about this and now I have a question. I am very, very horrible. I don't even know what chakras go where or what color goes with which one. People know this. I am a horrible learner and studier and all that wonderful stuff. But when the, like, say her sacral chakra, say that 3 times fast, is blocked, and you're using a certain crystal and that vibration, is that vibration clearing it, or is it just breaking it up to where it opens up?
It's going to break it up so you can do the work to clear it, because it all requires work.
Okay. Basically. Yeah, I just didn't know if the vibration is just like what I would assume. The vibration helps break it up.
Yeah.
Basically turns it into the smaller, no longer one large chunk, but smaller pieces.
Right. So it's not like,
you start to clear it.
Right.
So.
Yes.
And Melody's saying frequencies and colors, use the rainbow. Yeah. What is this, a Skittles commercial? And Debbie says, start at the root and work your way up the chakras from bottom to the top, clearing each one. See, perfect. I learned so much when I do my own show. I learn so much.
Yeah.
I never take the advice and actually do anything with it, but I learned so much.
Right.
I'm terrible about that. My audience knows that. So you do the chakra classes.
Mm-hmm.
What else are you? Because you did you do the drum circles. What does the drum circle? I have not done a drum circle. So what is the drum circle and your fire
ceremony
entail?
So the drum circle is some people come over who are interested in shamanic journeying, and one person will drum, and then we journey. Each person journeys on their own. It's the journey meditation. Mm-hmm. And then we either share or it's a 15-minute, we do a 15-minute meditation, just kind of our own. We each set our own intent and do our own journey. And the goal is, I've only done it a couple months and twice a month. So the goal is to do 2 a night and do a second journey for like a group journey to, like, there's people who've done journeys to like somewhere there's been to a place, like if there's a hurricane or a earthquake or something of that nature. That's my, and a goal is to do a group journey as well. But for now, we're just doing individual journeys. Somebody drums and then we all just journey and then talk about it. You can journal about it and just hang out and like-minded individuals.
Right.
And then the fire ceremonies for the full moon. And I do that it's a releasing of stuff you're wanting to let go of, worries, concerns, life stuff, patterns, habits, anything little to something huge in life. I have sticks. It's a little ritual ceremony. You do open sacred space and things and in the fire. And then we blow into a stick. You blow into a stick each issue that you want to get rid of, and you burn the stick.
Okay.
And you watch the fire go, and then you release it. And yeah, it's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, like I said, I have not partaken, obviously, in either one of them, but I've just heard little bits and pieces, so I wanted to know more about it, in case anyone else had an interest in trying to find a drum circle in their area or anything else. I'm sure that Mr. Nighthawk would be telling me, yes, you need to partake in this.
Is he still on here?
I'm sure if he's not, I'm sure he'll watch this again. I'm sure he'll yell at me on another night for not doing this and being part of this and doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
He's going to say, why are you getting so much advice if you're not going to use it? Stop being lazy. I know.
Right.
But you said that they may be opening up some other stuff. Oh, see? See? Look. Yes.
At the store.
Yes.
Yeah, they're going to do other classes. I know they're bringing in, I don't even know who it is, but a woman who wrote a book on mediumship, and she's going to teach a day of mediumship at the class in February. But I don't know who, or I don't know anything specifics, because I'm just a worker. There's a lady that comes into work, and she says, do you just work here, or are you spiritual?
You're like, yes. As a matter of fact.
Yes is the answer.
Oh, see, now I'm getting yelled at in all caps. Stop being lazy.
Stop being lazy.
Debbie posts, I'm talking about clearing inner work and getting the chakras working right. So that comes from a comment to where Joe earlier says, because Debbie talked about working from a root chakra and going up. And Joe said, I learned the other way, working from the top down, but he does it with the pendulum. So this is an answer back. And she says, I'm talking about clearing inner work and getting the chakras working right. It's important to clear the lower chakras first. It allows for easier clearing when you get to the upper chakras, and the inner work does well in that order too.
Right, because our lower chakras are our earth chakras.
Okay.
And then our upper chakras, upper 3 are our spiritual chakras, and our heart's the bridge in between. So it is important to do a lot of people in life are more interested in the upper chakras and ignore the lower chakras, but that causes, then you're
I get
mama.
I don't even go to, so a couple times I've been to Reiki, and Nikki goes to our Reiki person quite often, and she also goes to an angelic tuner as well. And they yell at her to yell at me to tell me I don't ground enough. I'm like, but how do you know? I'm not even with you. But apparently they know all. So, and the bad part is they're not wrong. So, just the grounding first, right?
Grounding, yes, always grounding.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have been told that I'm terrible at grounding, and I don't know why. I just think I do it naturally, so I don't really focus on it too much.
Right, and with all your earth connections, you think it would be easy for you.
You would think. So I just think it happens naturally. So that's just why I don't even really put the effort into it. So I see a lot of people do, because for me, I just feel like I'm always doing it. I mean, for some of the stuff I do, it's I have friends of ours that when they go on investigation, they really focus on grounding and doing a lot of other stuff before we go into a building, or they really make sure that when we leave the building, they ground.
Mm-hmm.
And I never do. I just think for me, it just feels like it's so natural that when I walk out, I'm instantly already good. Like I just feel everything clear away from me. And before I go in, I feel everything kind of settle on me and be like, all right, we're ready for this. And I never have to take the time. Just like I don't take a lot of time when people, where people have to take time to open up to hear spirit or close down to block it all down. They take a few minutes themselves to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. It's just very natural right
Mm-hmm.
away. I have comments happening on the side over here. And Jamie's saying, it'd be good if you would ground and send those downloads into the Earth Star. And then Joe is telling me, come to Hawaii and walk around barefoot. Joe, I walk everywhere barefoot if I could right now anyways. But my wife is confirming that, yes, she would like me to go to Hawaii with her to go walk around barefoot. And Debbie is saying, or Florida. Yes, I've actually been to Florida. So Jill is asking, what does grounding mean for you? Connection to earth, spirit, etc. So what is grounding?
Grounding would mean me connected to Mama Earth.
Yeah.
Too. And I do the whole, when I'm doing like a real intense meditation, I'll do a whole big, all the way, see the roots from my feet all the way into Mama Earth. But daily, I don't do that either.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. And people ask me a lot at work, do you get drained from the energy? I'm like, no, I'm super protected. I just feel super protected. And they're like, well, what extra do you do? I'm like, well, really not a whole lot. I just do my regular stuff, but I do feel super protected. But I know some people could go to work, actually, that I work with, just get drained immediately. Just so.
Nighthawk saying you need to take Nighthawk 101 grounding with Thunder Being Society Way. So, yeah, nice. Nighthawk does a lot. He has a couple of shows he does.
Yeah.
And they're fantastic. And he does a lot of sharing of his of what he can share with you. Mm-hmm. And then he also does a lot of cryptid, and like he has a couple of different shows that are fantastic. So
I'm writing this down.
So I'll leave that up there for you, Nighthawk, so she can write this down.
Yeah, I'm writing it right now. Awesome.
And I can send you Nighthawk's information too. He and I are friends on Facebook, and on YouTube, so I can send you his stuff. Joe says, to him, it's sending all the extra energy out of you and resyncing yourself up with natural energy.
Yeah.
So that's what he's getting when he's doing this. For me, when they tell me I need to picture, every time I've been told I need to ground, I'm being told that I need to plant my feet heavily into the ground, like really, like almost gravity is working against me.
Right.
Going to go nerdy, folks, for a second, but instead of the 766 torr, which is 1 atmospheric pressure, I'm supposed to go up to like 850 torr, which is slightly higher than 1% of atmospheric pressure, to really force that pressure down onto me and feel like I'm digging my feet into the ground. But when I do that, I cannot mentally see roots going into the ground.
Right.
I just can't. But I see a totally different form. I actually see light coming through and going into the ground. I have had to physically take something out of someone else's body and hold it within myself and release it into the ground. And I have done that successfully. But when it comes to me personally grounding, and I'm supposed to see the roots and everything else, I just don't see it.
Right.
So
that's some shamanic stuff that you're doing there.
Oh,
that's some
interesting. I don't know that. This is all up to me. So, and yes, my wife is confirming nerd.
Nerd.
And Jamie says she sees her pouring silver light into the ground. Yeah, mine is a golden white light that comes from me. It's white in the middle, and it's kind of shades out to gold that comes through me into the ground. That's what I see. I don't see the anchoring of the roots or anything else. So
yeah, we all see some. Well, we all have different perspectives, so we're all going to see something. It's going to be different for everybody.
Yeah, it seems like everybody that tells me that I need to ground, they said, okay, so imagine that you have roots growing out of the bottom of your feet.
Yeah.
They're going as far down as you can't see anymore, but they're all the way down into the earth. And I'm like, I can't see that.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah, if it don't work, it don't work. Right.
Right. I can only do what I can do. And
Right.
so
Exactly.
whatever my brain tells me is there. And
Right.
it's for me, it's the same way with and it's the same thing. So Joe's coming up with color depends on how I feel. If it's junk energy, I see it as icky colored, and white or blue filling me up. Yeah, Joe. So when I took stuff in that was bad in someone and I released it, to me it was more like an oil slick I was getting rid of. A darker, but it was gray. It wasn't black oil like that. It was more of a gray that I was pushing into the ground and getting rid of. I let the ground take care of it once it was out of me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just what I'd see. But yeah, like I said, my other colors. And then Jamie is saying that the silver cord from the top of the crown into the ground, the roots are creepy to me, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. See, we're all different perspectives. So it just
Yeah.
depends on how you can envision it and how it's most easy for you. I like it.
And then again, I need to hear the heartbeat of my Earth Mother when I ground. Now, Nighthawk, I believe that I am very well, not as I guarantee I'm not as much as I should be, Kim.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel that I'm very in tune with my natural surroundings, especially because I am one of the few people that I have learned over time, short time, who can see, hear, and talk to all the different elementals, like I'm seeing, hearing, and talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that anywhere I go, which is, to me, I thought, again, as we were talking earlier, I thought everybody can do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've learned no. So I feel like I have a very good understanding of kind of my heritage without really knowing my heritage or being taught. It's just kind of like intuition, instinct.
Right.
What it is. So, and then he's saying, let's talk, more do. Thanks, William. I get yelled at like this a lot by people, by my audience. I appreciate it. They're trying to help. They're trying to tell me to pay attention to what's going on and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's kind of the same way. Not just with grounding, but also with protection. Because Melody saw your dog. She said, "Sorry, I just saw a puppy."
Oh, you did?
She was yawning in the background. So yes.
I was ignoring him.
That's Kim's dog, everybody. So
there's 3 of them around here somewhere.
Yes, William, I know, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. But it's the same way with our protections. I'm sure your protection is different than what I see from my protection, and other people's out here are different than what ours is.
Right.
Because when I've been on places and to a lot of other places, like see a bubble around you, and I'm like, I don't want a bubble. And so people in the audience know, and I'll share this with you, is that I actually have a protective armor that's on me. I mean, it's a skin armor. And to me, it's very, 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 very impenetrable.
Right.
And the reason why is because I appreciate when we go on investigations that I can allow a spirit to come right here and not be able to do anything to me because my armor is that skin tight and my protection is that skin tight. And I want them to get that close to me because I want to be able to interact with them that closely.
Right.
So, and other people say, well, use a bubble. And I'm like, but that's too far away. I'm not a boy in a bubble.
Right. That's awesome.
So yeah, so it's a little different with, and it is
different for everybody. And I tell a lot of people that don't let anybody tell you you're doing it wrong, because it's all personal. We all have our own perspective.
Yeah.
And view. And yeah.
Joe says his armor is a bubble. It tastes like toothpaste. I can protect others, but I can draw it in like that armor if I need to. Nice. Now, Joe, I can protect others outside of mine, and kind of do their own thing. Like I can protect them with their own armor that I build for them, if they want it. But I do my best never to force what I do onto others. But if we're in a location, I am naturally the born protector. I am the one who does everything to make sure that everyone else in the team is safe.
Right.
and it's not on purpose. Well, it's on purpose, but it's not something I consciously think about. It's just by instinct.
Right.
This being military, it's just built into us inherently that this is what happens to us.
Right.
You protect your family, and so it's interesting how that seems to work that way. Yeah. And right now, Jamie and Joe are on the same wavelength because this is like 2 or 3 times that they've typed the same thing. I'm watching them type, and I'm seeing messages pop up right after another. They're both saying the same thing, which is kind of funny. Joe says for him, it seems more passive. If they want something to happen, I tell them to walk 10 feet away from me. It's fun watching that happen, watching what happens. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. And unfortunately, do you ever, when you're doing things, Kim, I got to ask, because when you're doing things, when you're seeing, you're manifesting, you're doing all your stuff, have you ever had the problem with interfering with others around you? And they're like, whoa, that's just a lot of energy.
People notice my energy a lot, but no, not really. I mean, they notice my energy. Like, wow, your energy like that, but not really.
Like I did. Yeah. So, like I did when we were at the show. I was like, that girl right there. So, right.
Yeah, but I don't. I was trying to think of.
Thanks, Zhang. I've been told that too, which is weird. Zhang saying Tom's a healer.
Nice.
I've been told that numerous times.
Yes, he is. So I've already picked that up.
Kind of told I'm a protector, healer type of person. So.
Yeah. My dog wants in. I'm going to let her in real quick.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Like I said, we're just here talking. So hi everyone. It's just me again. How y'all doing? Having a good day? Everything going well for your Monday? Those are puppies that you were seeing and hearing earlier, or one of them at least, Melody. So there's one of them at least. I was telling Melody that there's one of the puppies that you can hear right there. So.
Yeah, there's 3. There's 2 Chihuahuas and a husky.
Oh, so that's not a quiet household.
No, not usually. Well, it's the husky who causes the chaos. So.
Well, yeah. Do the Chihuahuas keep the husky in check?
Oh yeah, totally. They bully her.
It's kind of what I figured. We had a way back when I was little. I had a little Chihuahua we called Angel, but that name was so wrong.
Right.
For her.
Right.
And then Nikki's and my friend had a Chihuahua that was named Zoe, and they have big dogs, and that little dog kept the big dogs in check, like a Great Dane. It kept the Great Dane in check. So yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, they got big attitudes.
Yeah. Nighthawk is saying that some healers have trouble grounding themselves. Mm-hmm. Jill would like to know, is there any advice for this upcoming full moon?
Oh,
that's what we're looking for, Jill.
Yay, this is a great full moon. I'm excited about it, actually.
So explain what that is.
What's that?
The great full moon?
Oh, I said it's just a great one. It's actually called the cold moon, so it's not that great. But what I mean by great, it's like it's coming into the new year, so it's a time to let go of all the things you want to let go for the year. I'm really into the letting go of and bringing in the new stuff during the full moon, and so it's a really good one because it's the last one of the year. We're going into the new year just to set intention, and just a really, I don't know anything specific. But.
Jamie's saying it's in Gemini.
Gemini, yes, it's in Gemini. I'm Gemini rising too.
So Jill, it depends on what you're looking to do. As Kim stated, it is really good if you're trying to just clear out stuff that's going on this year, let it all release, whatever else. If you want to do a moon water, you can do that. Mm-hmm. You may want to look that up, or just like I said, there's a lot of information out there for moon water, what it's good for, and everything else. And Melody said, I was just looking that up. So there you go.
Nice.
William with all of his great information says full moon advice, no naked dancing around a big fire. Well, dang it, there goes my idea. So now I got to come up with something else. Thanks, William. Ashley A schoolbook. That's one of them without swearing. All of my knowledge fell into place naturally. Had dreams, and they included teaching the 3 wise men. Was older before I really should have been, but there's no bad outcome of it. Just makes me piss hearing whatever, thinking about blah, blah, blah. So this is the guy that's talking about he had some kind of stuff that fell into place, and then he just wanted to spam us out. So guess what?
Yeah.
Bye. So he started off good, but then he went.
Yeah, he did. That was at first some good stuff.
And then he just went the wrong way.
Right.
So I just went ahead and blocked that one. So
Nice.
and then Nikki's following up with spam.
Yeah.
So, Jill says she needs to clear out anger, frustration at work, releasing how I think things should be to be nicer. Yeah, and that's all the stuff you can release with this.
That's great for full moon work too. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I mean, there's different ways you can release stuff during the full moon, or stuff that you can do to bring stuff in during the full moon. I mean, the full moon can be used for so many different things. If you do have crystals and you want them to charge, put them underneath the full moon or charge them under the full moon. Moon charging is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Mine are, in fact, ours, I should say, not just mine, but all of ours sit in our windowsills and charge that way. You don't have to put them outside in the freezing cold. If you're in a freezing cold place, you can put them inside on a windowsill. And you can do the same thing with the water. The water does not have to be outside. William is also giving us more great information that says you can cook spam on a full moon fire. So, William's full of good advice. So, and Jill says she does that. She charges them. So,
I used to do the full moon charging in my windowsills, but now I got so many. I was filling up every one of my windowsills in my house.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is crazy. I've got to find another way to do this.
Right, and that's kind of how we are. Our larger crystals don't really make it to the windowsills.
Yeah.
But all of our smaller ones are, and all of our bracelets and everything else are all on the windowsills. Working through that, so that'll be a fun one. I think we have an ish theme going because Melody is saying full moon is on the 7th ish.
It's Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? Yeah. 7.
Yeah, so the 7th is Wednesday.
Yeah.
So
No.
I don't think my audience has used ish so much today. So.
Sorry, they're causing a little chaos.
Oh, that's okay. The show is this is actually one of the more focused shows that we've had in a long time. A lot of times we have a lot of squirrel moments, and this one's been pretty good.
This is my dog, Justice.
Justice?
He's 14.
Holy cow.
Yeah. My old man.
Jamie's telling us that ish is a whole language.
Yes.
Ish. So do you have I gotta say good night tonight, Hawk. Love ya. Thank you for coming on.
Thank
I'll
you.
be talking to you in a bit.
Oh.
Do you have any I know Jamie and I and Joe and all of us, the understanding and beliefs that we are.
Really stop. Sorry, she's running back and forth from the bedroom back out there. Harley, stop. She's not gonna stop. I'm gonna let her out.
Okay.
She's running to the bedroom right back up to me.
Oh, well, alrighty then.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Holy smokes. Wish I had that energy.
All the time, yes.
Right?
So there's a handful of us on here that know that, well, I'm going to say more than a handful, almost all of us on here, know that we are from some form of starseed world, universe, everything else. Do you know yours? Do you have an understanding of it?
Yes.
Kind of how it all works? And
I Well, the first time I ever really had, I always, growing up, I've always said, and I couldn't figure out what I was. I always said, I don't understand this. I know I'm not human. I don't get it. I went through all kinds of things. I was a djinn at one point. I was this. I was trying to figure it out pretty much all my life. What the hell am I? I ain't getting this. So let's see. I don't know how long ago. I don't even know how long ago, but first started when, and I've always done research, and I was never really sure where my origins or where I've been, all the other places I've been.
Right.
I was in a Reiki session one time. I decided somebody was doing my Reiki, and I decided to astral project and watch. I was like, oh, watch, this could be cool. I watched, and it was a Pleiadian healer doing the whole healing session. Oh. And I was floored the whole time. My mouth, I felt like I was just like, my mouth was just hanging open, like just in complete awe the whole time. And I watched her do it all, and how it was a total different touch. It was all different.
Right.
So the Reiki master gets done. I'm getting ready to leave. I says, would you like to know what happened? Sure, you share. I said, well, it wasn't you. She says, well, I never left. I says, well, it was a full-on Pleiadian healer. And she says, oh my gosh, she used to come all the time, and she hasn't come in a few years. I'm like, oh wow. And she knew her name and everything. She had her whole name. I'm like, well, so that happened. I'm like, well, that has to be important, because why would a Pleiadian healer be doing healing on me? That doesn't, calculate. I got to figure this out.
Right. Yeah.
So,
yeah. Jamie's listing hers.
Nice.
And Jamie, no, I still haven't got a hold of Holly. She has a friend of hers who can actually do our research for us, and I am terrible again about reaching out to do that background.
Right. Yeah, so I don't know all the others. I've done, when I do Reiki now, oftentimes I'll have one time different beings appear when I'm doing Reiki on people. One time I've had the avians, some avians come. And I've had Pleiadians. I've had Pleiadians several times. So I get different ones that come in. So, I just work with them, and yeah, it's super cool though. Super cool.
So Jim wants to know if anyone can tell him he has more energy at night. Why is this?
I don't know. I don't have an answer, but I think generally there's a time of day when each of us have more energy than another time of the day. So makes sense.
Mine is very early, very, very, very early in the morning.
Yeah, I'm an early morning person too.
Yeah.
By 3, 4, 5, I'm kind of wiped out. By 9, I'm in bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim, I need to know more background about your day, buddy. Yeah. I don't know if it's a spiritual thing, or is it a physical thing, or mental, or whatever. I have to know more of a background to be able to give you an answer on this. So you're more than welcome to reach out. So, and Jamie is saying sometimes it follows when you were born.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, the time of the day and all that.
So,
yeah.
So maybe it has something to do with that, Jim. Maybe it has tied to when you're born. And Jamie and Melody saying you're just synced more with the night right now. And that's and
it's not always a real super complicated answer to things, It's just real simple.
And that can change. Melody's answer, you're just synced more with the night right now. That can change. I used to very much very, very much stay up till all hours of the morning. And and that's just how I was. And now I'm more of a very early person, and I go to bed earlier at night. So it's just kind of shifts.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And that's age too, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, but
there's a lot of things, factors.
Yeah, my problem is because of and mine ties to my military background. Because of my military background, I still only sleep about 3 or 4 hours a night every night.
Wow.
I've been doing that for 20 years. Yeah. Wow. That's very odd.
That's another thing I talked about in my bio about sleeping nighttime. I was, and it's kind of taking you off subject a
Oh
little bit.
no, we squirrel all the time on here. Go ahead.
I was young. I think I was 16. I just learned how to drive, and I had always, like I had said, I've always been interested in religion and spirituality, and I was just searching, reading. That's the Gemini rising in me. But anyway, I was 16. I just remember the moment. I remember the intersection I was at in Omaha.
Oh,
I was driving my car,
yeah.
and I was turning. I was heading west, and I was turning left, and it was like all of a sudden I just realized that my dream world and my unconscious, subconscious world has to be more important than my conscious world because I spend more time there.
Right.
It was like all of a sudden I just like realized it was like this. I remember the whole moment, like it was like 40 years ago. It's crazy. It was like a big realization because I knew there was I've always been a crazy dreams.
Oh, me too.
And so I knew there was always more to everything that we were being taught. I always knew there's more. There has to be more.
Yeah.
And now I get it. The energy, the metaphysical explanation, all that. Yeah. Just didn't make sense for so long. And now it just, and I love it. I love knowing it because young people come to work searching and they're interested and they're just opening up to their gifts. And it's just great to be able to say, you're right. You're on the right path. You're not wrong. And don't let anybody tell you that. And just follow your heart 100. Just follow that.
And that's kind of where I am right now because I did not discover this stuff till almost 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting now to every once in a while have someone go, hey, that's right. And I'm like, holy crap, how'd I do that?
Right. It's like, what? Really? Whoa. Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
Jim saying he can never get out of his dreams when he wants to. What do you mean you can never get out? Like you can't wake up? It keeps you asleep? What is that? I need more.
Yeah.
More to that statement. Does that just mean you can't wake up when you want to at a certain part of a dream? That you're stuck in it until the end of it, or until it decides to let you out?
Right.
Because that could be a big tell for something. If you're sleeping and you're dreaming and it won't let you. So he says yes. So and it won't let you out. There's a lesson to be learned. If it's a dream, then you'll wake up from it if you want to. If it's something that someone is trying to tell you or something is trying to tell you, it will keep you in your dream state. If it's trying to teach you something that is important that you need to learn. That's how I do it.
To come across. Yep. That's how
Correct.
I learned it too.
That's how I'm reading that.
Yeah.
So yes, if you can't wake up until it's over, it's because they're trying to guide you, tell you something, lead you away from something, do something to assist you in some way, shape, or form. So pay very close attention to that dream if it does not let you out of that dream. It may not be I was going to tell you, it may not be something you can remember right away, or it may not be something that makes sense. But there will be something that happens that you are going about in a daily, just whatever, and all of a sudden something happens. You're like, oh my goodness, and it's just going to dawn on you like a light bulb, and you're like, oh, I remember that. That was in my dream, and you're going to come to that realization and be like, oh, that's what that meant, or that's what that's telling me. You may not remember right now, but your subconscious does, and when it needs to be remembered, it will be remembered, and it will bring it to light for you. So.
Nice. Yes. He read.
Yay. Yeah, and that just kind of happens to me all the time too. Answers just come into my head and I can just tell people what it is.
Right. So dreaming is cool. I was dreaming for really, I've had just some really cool off the wall things happen with dreaming. One time this wasn't dreaming, but I was getting Morse code for like a week in my right ear. Anytime I would lay down, not before I would fall asleep. I'm like, what the heck? And for a full on week, I was like, what? And And I was asking some spiritual teachers, and I have I don't know what they're saying. I have no clue what it is. They're like,
Right.
try to write it down. I'm like, it's going way too fast. It's like beep, 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 beep. Everything was going. And I'm like, I have no idea. And then,
and in your head, you're trying to remember Morse code. You're like, wait.
I know, right? Right.
I don't remember.
I can't do it that fast. So I asked, one said ask, and I asked it and it stopped. Yeah. I was like, okay, that's cool though, because I know I've been downloaded. I've got the information, whatever it is. And I would just say, I accept, I receive, I accept and I receive. And most of the time I say accept, I receive, I emanate. But
right.
It's like I accept and I receive.
Last week you weren't here with us, but I did share something with the audience last week, and I thought it was kind of cool. I have been repeating dreams months apart. And at one point I did it for one dream and then I had it again. Well, last night I repeated another dream, a different dream that I had months ago. And so I'm trying to figure out right now why I'm repeating dreams. I mean, I know they're supposed to be lessons, just like I told Jim. Right. And I'm supposed to be getting something from them. And Jim, I'm the same way, brother. I'm telling you, right now, I don't know what the lesson is to be learned or what they're guiding me to, but I am starting to repeat now 2 different dreams, but they both kind of have the same, what I would call the same moral to the story behind them.
Yeah.
So I know what the dreams are. I don't know what they mean, but they both fall along the same lines. So at some point, I'm hoping that something or someone will, even if it's just myself or my higher self or whoever is going to be talking in my ear is going to tell me or put me in front of that situation and go, this is what your dreams were for.
Right.
So I'm in the same boat. It's not just you. Don't feel frustrated. You're going to feel frustrated. Don't feel frustrated. It may be a while before you get that understanding. It may not be tomorrow. It may not be this year. But let it happen. Don't fight it. And it's just something that you're supposed to learn from.
And don't be hard on yourself either.
Yeah.
That's the worst. Yeah.
Because the first time it happened to me, I went ahead and I was like, all right, why am I repeating this dream? And I already don't sleep. Jamie, I understand when you said you only started sleeping more than a couple hours at a time. No, I only sleep a couple hours the entire night, not just a couple hours at a time. So I would lay awake in my non-sleeping areas and be like, all right. So in my head, that dream lasted about 6 hours. From when I went to sleep and I woke up, it's only been 22 minutes.
Right.
What am I supposed to learn from this? And I got to learn it fast because I want to go back to sleep. After a couple hours, I'm like, this ain't happening. So then I try to put myself back to sleep. So Jill's saying, this has been great. Everyone has been super helpful. We'll have to check Kim's store next time I'm in Omaha.
Yes.
Jill. Yeah. Next Millennium is where she's at. Come out there. It's a wonderful store.
It's amazing.
It's really cool. And the people there are very, very helpful. So
it's neat because everybody knows different things.
Yes. And then before you go, Jill, really quick, hopefully you're still on here. If you want to just reach out, here's Kim's information right there, kimshealingcorner@gmail.com. So you can reach out and ask questions as well. Mine is simply stuffineverlearned@gmail.com. So you can reach out to me as well and ask questions. I'm more than happy to help. Anyone on here is more than happy to help. So, but yes, so thank you for being on here, Jill. I appreciate it. Hopefully you come back and check out other guests that are on here. But yeah, so it's really interesting though that the dreams are now coming up the way they are and how to try to work through them. But I have just resolved myself that I am not supposed to know immediately. It will come to me when it is time to come to me. Right. I'm not going to force the issue, and I will just be grateful when I get the message. So, right. Yeah, and Jamie's saying the same thing. Whole community is here to help. Yep, exactly. Awesome. That's kind of why this whole thing is built.
Yeah, it's awesome.
People just like to come in and be able to help each other out. Well, I think that's a good show. We're at about an hour 20 minutes.
I hope it was all right.
It flew by pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
We covered a lot of topics.
Yes.
So,
yeah, it's great.
Yeah, but I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I loved having you on here. I know I will see you at Next Millennium and all the shows. Everybody right here, Kim Erwin again, kimhealingcornell@gmail.com. If you have questions, she's an amazing person. She does so much. We really didn't cover
I know.
all of it. There's so much more. We didn't even really touch on the ministry side and all the other stuff that you do. So just a wealth of knowledge for everything. So thank you for being on my show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bless
you guys for coming in.
Yeah, greatly appreciated. But I'm going to go ahead and let you go, and I'm going to go ahead and say goodnight to the audience.
All right. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, everybody. Yeah. Have a great night.
Thanks, Kim. Appreciate it.
Blessings. Good night.
All right, everyone. That's our show. Let me see. Next week. Hold on. I got to wrap my head around it. I have on Gwendolyn Guthrie, who will be on my show next week. Fantastic, wonderful paranormal investigation. Just wonderful person to have on. She is going to be on my show next week. I want all of you to show up to help support her. She's a fantastic, wonderful person, as all my guests always are, and I really appreciate the audience I have. I really love you all coming in, participating as much as you do, commenting, sharing your stories, harassing each other, harassing me. You know me, I love it all. But anyways, quick update on, quick notice. Here's all my stuff as normal. Facebook.com, stuff I never learned from the school book. All is one sentence. Twitch.tv/stuff I never learned. And YouTube is now youtube.com/@stuff I never learned. So we got rid of all the numbers, letters, mumbo jumbo. Now I actually have a @stuff I never learned. So feel free to go out, share, like, enjoy, show up, bring friends. We're still growing this community. If you want to post stuff on any of my sites for your own stuff, it's a public site. Post your stuff out there. I don't care. If I find it offensive or others find it offensive or anything else, I am the judge outside of Facebook, if you're on Facebook, to identify if it's offensive or not. But if it's just stuff you're sharing, you want to share with the community, you want to share with the world, and it's going to help others, post it out of my stuff. I don't care. I'm not one to try to hoard my stuff. All kinds of people share their stuff out, and I appreciate it because I think we're just helping the community grow when we keep doing this together. So use it, share it, do whatever you want with it. Just be kind about it. All right. Other than that, let me check messages. Thank you. Much love, everybody. Have a great night. I will see you next Monday, 7 p.m. Central, right here on Stuff I Never Learned from the School Book. Again, if you have any questions, I can be reached at stuffineverlearned@gmail.com. Have a great night.